Okay, so as you can see here, I've got all 4 shock collars threaded onto the shock bodies. Hey guys, welcome back to Revolution XRC, and welcome to the next part of my Vanquish VS4-10 Phoenix build series. In this part of the series, we are going over building the shocks. And to do that, you'll need baggie. Some other things that are also handy to have while doing or building these shocks are a shock stand, shock pliers. Here I have ProTech RC shock pliers, very handy tool. You'll also want the shock oil of your choice. Now the kit does come with shock oil, but I have specific oil that I like to use. In this case, I'm going to try using heavier weight than I usually use, since the chassis is a little bit heavier than some of my others. I'm going to try using 60 weight in the front and 70 weight in the rear. I also like coating my O-rings with Nolene SF3 grease. And there's this handy tool that is supposedly supposed to help you with the shock collars on this VS4-10 Phoenix kit. This is a part that was designed by Jeff Starrett. He's provided this part on my Mini Factory, so I'll put a link to this in the description below, and we'll see how well this works. And as always, you'll be able to find the links to all these tools in the description below. For step 1, you'll need these, and X-rings, a clip, and some other spacers. But you don't need to do any of that because it's already pre-installed for you. So step 1 is pretty much already done for you. I got freaked out because I thought those parts were missing. Turns out it's already pre-installed for you. So that's it for step 1. For step 2, you'll need the following parts. You'll need the shock collars, the pistons, the shock shafts, and 8 E-clips. You'll also probably want to think about trying out this tool from Jeff Starrett. I'll put a link to this in the description below, but he's provided this tool on my Mini Factory, and you can print it out yourself, and basically it should help you thread the shock collar onto the shock body. Alright, first thing I'm going to do is go through the slow and painful process of trying to thread this shock collar. Even with the tool, it's kind of hard. So I'll get these shock collars threaded onto the shock body, and we'll be right back. Okay, so as you can see here, I've got all 4 shock collars threaded onto the shock bodies. What ended up working for me was using a pair of shock pliers, holding the shock body horizontally like this, and then slowly putting on the shock collars, just making sure that they were straight while threading on. Eventually I got them on. It took a lot of backing out and threading again, but eventually you'll get it. You'll also need the bottom rod ends and pivot balls for step 2. And that completes step 2 of the shock assembly. Now this isn't really a step, but I'm just going to call this step 3. Basically, I'm going to be filling these shocks with oil. And I'm going to be using 60 weight. Alright, I filled the shocks with oil and I'm just going to let it sit there. Then we'll move on to the other parts of the shocks. Alright, this is officially also not a step. I'm going to call this step 4. You'll need these following parts. You'll need 4 shock caps, 4 O-rings for the shock caps, these 4 small spacers for the bleeder screws, and these 4 M2x4 bleeder screws, or caphead screws. That completes step 4. For not an actual step, but what I'm calling step 5, you'll need these following parts. You'll need 4 M2.5 by 8 screws, the pivot balls, the springs, and the spring retainers. And that completes putting together the shocks, and that also completes this part of the build series. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell for future updates on this Vanquish VS4-10 Phoenix